Hey, welcome back everybody to today's coding session. In this series, I am showing you how I'm implementing my strategy for learning how to code. I basically just set 2 hours per day to just do high-level cognitive work on the computer. I turn off all my distractions. I'm not on social media. I just focus on the code, and I honestly do not have any expectations for the result that I will get today. My only expectation is that I will sit here and break my teeth, so to speak, for the next 2 hours. So I invite you to do the same. If you are up to a lecture or you are up to an assignment, or I think that every one of you knows exactly up to what point you are in your coding journey, just go ahead now and put this video on mute, put it on the side, and just go to your course and start coding. So let's get right into it. Before we do, I just want to show here just a couple of the comments that came in recently. There's a few of them, so I'm gonna try to do this very quickly. The first one is from Abhishek 340. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But he's just asking, like, once you finish the course, you get a free certificate or what? So yeah, the answer is yes. All you have to do is go to the link of the course, and on this video here, on the roadmap video, if you go over there, on the first comment, I've pinned over here um, all the links to all the courses that I talk about. So if you just go on the Python one, for example, once you finish all your assignments according to the specification, you can go in here and type and push CS50 certificate, follow the instructions, and they will give you a certificate with your name on it. Okay, and so the next question is from Michael. How good are the projects done in this course? Do interviews actually care about them? I would say the answer is they are okay, but they are not great projects, meaning they are not like I think that the best project is actually the one from the course that I'm doing right now. I'm hoping to come out of this course with my own application that's scalable. It's based on Django with React in the front end. My goal is to even maybe get some users as well, some paid users to use the application. That is something that will be impressive to an interviewing. Showing them how your algorithm in C on how to sort through data on an Excel sheet, maybe that's not the most impressive thing in the world to a recruiter. So that's the answer. Um, the other question here from user, I have a challenge. So he's saying that he's trying to submit his assignments and it's not working. So I suggest using the code space that CS50 gives you, and from over there it comes already with all the libraries that you need in order to submit the homeworks easily. That's what I'm running over here. So here code spaces, even though this is running on my local VS Code here, is actually just a copy of something that runs on the server with the through the GitHub code spaces, and specifically this already is linked somehow to CS50. Okay. The next question is, do you think this course is as boring as going to university? I'm just summarizing here. My answer is that it's a lot less, the style of learning is definitely just like learning university, but you're not putting in all that money and all that time that you need to learn in university. So here you're just getting a taste of whether this career is for you or not just by taking a course online within the same style that you would learn in university. If you like, which I'll tell you my personal experience, I've really enjoyed the courses that I've taken so far from CS50. I am definitely planning for the future to take additional courses from Princeton, for example. I'm even planning also, I'm already looking also into seeing whether I would be a good candidate to go into a bachelor's degree in computer science. And obviously, that's something that I'm going to share with you on the channel if it does end up happening. But that's sort of my thinking where, I took the course. It was hard, yes, but it really helped me. to decide, you know what, I'm still young, I still have the opportunity to go to university. Maybe I should pursue a degree in computer science. Okay. Moving on here, Tactical Few Chess asks, what's my answer for saying CS50 is not a course of foundation? I heard a Google programmer called Mohammed Mesharif saying that. Number one, I don't know Mohammed. I don't know what his experience is. I don't know exactly what he does at Google. But look, let's face that. Let's take this question into a few things. Um, if you're asking someone that works at Google, my assumption is that they're going to say that, of course, you cannot just go ahead and take CS50 and then get a job at Google. It's not. There's no such thing. The best that you could do, perhaps, the best that you can do, perhaps, is to take CS50 and hustle your way into some type of entry-level job at a smaller company. That's what I did. I'm still at that company today, about a year and a half later. My job specifically, I've done some coding, but most of the job is actually project management. But I have done some coding for them, and they have been very impressed. So you gotta obviously take into account that Google is very competitive to get in. I actually know someone who works at Google. I actually know two people that work at Google. One of them, for sure, I know that he has a bachelor's degree in computer science. He was at the top of his class, and then he went to a boot camp specializing in data science, a boot camp that is known to be very competitive. I don't know if he did that in lieu of a master's degree. I don't know if he's in the process of getting his master's degree. The point is, um, again, CS50 is not something that's going to get you into Google. With that said, I disagree with whatever you're trying to say here that CS50 is not a good course in the foundation. I think it's an excellent course in the foundations. I think you're not, at the moment, there is no better course just to learn the basics. And again, I think that if you're able to finish CS50, let's say you take a summer, say if you take a few months to do all CS50 courses, if you're young, you have the time, then you'll know if you want to apply to college and to go into computer science. So that's that. The next question is, do I have a Discord or to follow, join? Guys, I'm only present in YouTube at the moment. I have a very busy schedule, and I'm trying to not spread myself thin. And so I'm only focusing on YouTube at the moment, but hopefully in the future, I would like to expand to other social media. If you guys will be interested in forming some type of community, just be in touch with me. Maybe we can do this together. I don't have to be in charge of the Discord. I'm open to the idea of just contributing and someone else doing the managing the channels. The important thing again is that you just sit 2 hours a day and you code and you advance from wherever point in life you're right now, you move forward. The next question is, if you enroll in CS50 and then it takes you long. So yeah, CS50 puts out a new course every January 1st. They give you until the end of the year, December 31st to finish the course. If you don't finish, your progress transfers over to the next course. It could be that the next course has new assignments that you would need to also do those. But that's sort of the rule. You don't lose your progress. You just migrate to the new version of the course, and then now you have to fulfill the new requirements of the new course. So if they have more requirements, then you have to do more work or whatever, make up whatever the difference is. The next question, and we're getting towards the end here. These are certificates of completion. Yeah, so the free certificate just says that you complete it. Actually, I think that all certificates, that's just all they say. They say you completed this course of study, but they're not sure. The certificate doesn't let an employer know that you're a good person. It doesn't let an employer know that you know your stuff. It could be you cheated in the courses. I don't know. The certificate is only a way of showing employers that you have some type of you went through some type of hardship to finish a course. But what really is going to get you hired is the interview, is the CV, is your ability to sell yourself as a good employee, as someone who can who they can communicate with effectively, and someone who can do the job. That's it. So, yeah, the certificates. Let's be honest. No one has ever asked to see my certificate. They just want to see, like, can I? The way that I got hired was basically, yeah, show me a couple projects that you did, and are you willing to us giving you an opportunity, work your butt off, work hard for the, just to show us that that you're the person for the job. That's it. And the last question here, thank you for very good for it's from Ijaz Hussein. Thank you very much for the video. My daughter has completed CS50 Python an AI with Python course, which I think it's very interesting because I thought that you needed to do the main CS50 in order to go into the AI course. At least that's how I saw it. And she submitted all the projects, everything, but she didn't get her certificates. So yeah, just go take a look at the beginning of this video now, where just go into the link of the course, and there's a link inside of the course that says something about the certificate. You follow the instructions that you can print your certificate out. It's not something that they are going to mail to you per se. Okay, guys, so that's the comments for today. Let's get right into coding. So we left yesterday in this whole mess here. Where we're trying to figure out exactly how to handle the server response, where we get all our posts as a JSON file. And now we have to loop through that and build a separate post card for each post. And that's what we're going to call the post feed. The same way that any social media, such as Facebook, for example, works. We can just scroll and scroll and scroll, and you see all of your posts. Now, the issue here was where we left off yesterday. First of all, let's see where we are up to. Let's cd into our directory here. We're at CS50 W. I think we were up to network and project 4, and then Python manage.py run server. So we're giving ourselves here a way to see the progress. And look, already I'm getting an error here from my views.py file. So it's right here. So yeah, okay. So we're trying to implement this whole thing here. I'm just gonna write something that's totally wrong here, but just so that we can run the server. Okay. Let's see now. So yeah, now the server is active. Just go over there and see, this is all broken at the moment, so that makes sense. But basically, what we're trying to do here is, so yesterday, thank you so much, somebody was helping me in the chat, if I remember, Android 17, I believe. He was suggesting some things here. And so where we left off was that we're trying basically, our main error here is this post feed.map. Now, the map function is something that works only on arrays. And the problem is, or what I think the problem is that when we submit our request, what we get is this whole problem here. Okay, so now our post body, let me just take the post body out because it's confusing. And let's name this data just for the sake of simplicity. Let's reload this. Yeah, so this is the data that's coming back to us from the server. And if you see, yes, it is an array. So it starts with a bracket, which means it's an array. But it's an array of dictionaries, which should be fine. However, there's also like a dictionary within a dictionary. So that's our issue. I was just wondering yesterday if there's a way that I can simplify the output here, because let's face it, I don't need all this random stuff. Like I don't need to know from which model this is coming from. I don't even need the primary key. I was just wondering if there's a way that we can format this data better, so it's easier for our React app over here to interpret it and turn it into the post. Before we get into this, I did. It's interesting. I was just on YouTube yesterday and I saw this suggested video here, which I thought I would watch it with you guys now, which would explain to us just some things about React that I feel like I still have questions about. So let's see if we can just go ahead and play it here. Let's see 1 minute. Okay. Let's see.
React is a JavaScript library full of fancy terms like reconciliation, composition, and error boundaries. But what do all these terms actually mean? Let's start from the beginning with components. Components are the building blocks of every React app. They allow us to make all the visible parts of our applications, like buttons, inputs, or even entire pages. Just like Legos, you can use components as many times as you want. Every React component is a JavaScript function that returns markup. But since React is a JavaScript library, React components don't return HTML markup. They actually return something called JSX, which is JavaScript in disguise. JSX is optional, but the alternative way to make use
Yeah, so I think this is a part of the issue that we were having yesterday. We were trying to return something different instead of just JSX, if I understood it correctly, is equal JSX equals React component. So what we have to return is a React component. If we try to mess with that, we're going to keep getting errors.
user interfaces is with the function createElement, which gets annoying to write pretty fast, so everyone just uses JSX. Since JSX is JavaScript, you can't write attributes like you would in HTML. You have to write them in the camel case style. That means HTML attributes like class become class name. Unlike HTML, which is static and unchanging, the benefit of using React is that you can use dynamic JavaScript values in your JSX. If you have data, you can display it in your JSX using curly braces. Curly braces accept values like strings and numbers directly. You can use them to make your attributes dynamic, and you can style React elements using a JavaScript object within the curly braces. Since JavaScript functions can only return one thing, in React you can only return one parent element from a component, so you can't do this without getting a big error.
This is something to keep in mind, definitely. This is something that we have been trying to do for a while. Let me see here. Um, or we were trying to do that before, now we're not doing it anymore. But I think that was the problem that we were having over here.
We could fix this by wrapping these components in a div, but maybe you don't want to add another element to the page. Instead, you can use an empty component called a React fragment. Okay, but what if I want to pass data into another component? For that, you use something called props. To make a prop, create a name on the component you want to pass data to and set it equal to some value. And that's it. You can then use that prop in the component you passed it to. Props refers to properties on an object, which is what you get in the parameters of each component. To use the prop, take it from the object like a normal JavaScript property. Think of them like custom attributes you can add to any component. So wait, can you pass anything as a prop? Yes, you can. You can even pass other components as props using the children prop. If you make opening and closing tags for a component, you can pass other components in between them. These passed components are called children, and you can access them on the children prop of the parent component. And it's great for something called composition, which is about organizing our React components in the most optimal way. The children prop is really useful for creating layout components when you want your children to have the same common layout. The key prop is another built-in prop to React. And
This is getting to be a bit of a mouthful over here, but I think I'm getting the idea. And so over here, look, I really do believe that the issue here is our return from the server. So let's go back here into our browser tools, web developer tools. Um, and let's just get rid of this for a minute. Also this. So if we need a loading, we'll see that in a minute later. Uh-huh. And so that's the problem that we're getting here, that our data is not an array. Let me see here. If array is array, right? And then if not, then it's basically saying it's not an array. Let's see, JavaScript array of key value pairs. And so I do believe that this maybe should be the data one. Let's see. And let's call this post. I'm just making up some stuff here. Post React. Let's try that as our JSON response. So if we go into all post here, you'll see um, so we have data post. Okay. Um, let's try this. So post feed.map. So let's try array.map. Map. And then like what should be the input to this? What should be the input to array.map in JavaScript? Okay. Right, so the basic way of doing it is to write a for loop, afterwards you write a for each, fine. Or dot map creates an array from calling a specific function each item in the parent array. So what dot map is, it's calling, let's see here. One of the most popular methods is, you know what? I'm just gonna ask the duck. Um, what should to dot map in JavaScript? Let's see. The dot map function in JavaScript takes a callback um, function as its input. This callback function is applied to each element in the array. That makes sense. The callback function itself has 3 arguments. The callback function itself takes 3 arguments: the current element, the index of the current element, and the array itself. Right, so that's this. It's taking, okay. Can it be used with an array of dictionaries? Let me just make sure that's what it's called. JS. So this is declaring an object and an array. It's fine. So it's an object, array of objects. what about an array where some of the objects have objects inside them? Person dot details dot age. Return. So what is the problem here? I don't understand still. Like this should work. Let's see. So what is wrong? Not this. Set loading false. We'll take this out of here for now. This loading function, which we might need later, but for now, we're going to skip it. Especially since we're running this locally and it loads immediately. Okay, and um, set post feed twice. Okay. Have we made any progress here? Let's see. The data of data is not an array. And over here, my data should be serial post. Now, I do believe that as serialized as that serious, we could definitely specify the order that we want the post in, what fields from the post we want, etc. So let's see. A shout out to just a guy with no time. Hi, just here to thank you. You really helped me with the CS50 video. Which CS50 video? Um, but yeah, you're welcome, and yeah, hope that you're making progress. Okay, so this is not working yet, and so we're tripping over here this error, whereby once we check if it's an array, it's telling us that it's not an array. Um, Now let's go one more time into all posts. Um, so I really don't know. I really don't know. Um, it could be that we're JSONizing it twice. So let's just get rid of this line here. And let's go into all posts. Let's try that again. Now I do want to maybe find the documentation for this. Serializing Django objects. Yeah. Yes, sir. So we can type in here the fields that we want. Let's just do that. Um, yeah, so let's type that in here. Now we did say that our models have a body, um, a date. Let's say that, a body and a date. Let's just start with that. And if we reload over here, yeah, I do think that it's somewhat working. Let's see. You see, it's giving us slightly less data, which should be okay. Let's see. Now, I don't know what this is. That's my only question here. Data, serial posts. Is this okay? Is this okay to go into React from Django? Yes. Hey, just to get with no time, he says here that he's currently studying university and that his major is mechanical engineering, but it's tiresome because he hates his major. So he's trying to switch to computer science or IT or anything like that. I totally recommend it. You should do something that you love. Um, um, I have a little bit of experience with mechanical engineering as well. I understand there's an insane amount of math over there as well, which you will see in computer science. Computer science major definitely has significant amount of math. Um, if maybe not so much physics. Um, but I don't know. I just actually, as a hobby, um, I do have. I'm running here. Let's see if I could show you. I am running here. SketchUp 2023. I'm running here. At one point, I was running Fusion. Let me see here. See if I could show you some proof that I have a little bit of experience here. I think it's Autodesk Fusion. Where is it? Um, I don't even know where it went. Maybe I deleted it. Onshape. Okay, so I do have a little bit of experience with using CAD software, specifically for mechanical engineering. So it's definitely a good skill to have. Drafting skills. There's also mechatronics that you can get into, which definitely combines mechanical engineering with computer science. There's also electrical engineering, which combines um, uh, it's all related. It's really very similar to yeah, it definitely combines computer science with um, like board design and just obviously you're getting a little bit lower on the actual electricity, but very similar to mechatronics. So yeah, these are all things to look into. And if you go into a major university that has a lot of different programs, then it shouldn't be too hard for you to switch or to even enroll in some of those courses and then switch. That's possible. Okay, so yeah, so you're saying that has a lot of integration. Yeah, so dude, you're just gonna have to stick it through. Math is like that. Like there's a lot of you just have to learn all your integrals. You have to have your cheat sheet. Just have to do it. Like there's just no way around it. I'm sorry. Like it might not even be relevant to what you need to do in your job in the end, but that's just a requirement of CS50 or not CS50. Sorry, of your degree. Like most science degrees in college require you to take up to calculus 2, maybe even calculus 3. So linear algebra, etc. So you just have to stick it through. It'll show. This is part of the reason why a lot of big companies they want to hire people that have a bachelor's degree in science or in any science field, because they know it's hard. Because they know that if somebody can finish calculus 3, or if you're studying biology, for example, if you could finish if you could finish biochemistry 2, then bro, you could do anything. Like you could learn anything, you could get anything done. This is what employers want to see. Um, so if the only reason you want to quit is because if the only reason you want to quit mechanical engineering and go into computer science because of the math, I got news for you. You're gonna see just as much math in computer science. You're gonna have just as hard time with the math. There's no other way of me saying it. Maybe find a group that you study with, make some friends. It's easier to go through hard things when it's, let's say, a group of 4 that all of you guys just make a commitment together until the end of the year. You're gonna get through the course. That's just you know take the cold dip and just finish your math course. Okay, so um, going back here, let's see, where were we? So um, it's perfectly fine to send JSON data from Django to a React application. The JSON response object returning from your Django view will be sent to HTTP response. Correct. Correct. Okay, fine. It goes into fetch, which we are already using. However, please note that the serialize function in Django returns a string of JSON, not an actual JSON object. Guys, I believe this might be the issue here that we've been having for 2 days already, which is that if we take a look at our return here, you see at the first element, the very first character in our return is not a bracket. It's this little, right? It's a what do you call this? A quote, like a single quotation. So this tells me that this is a string. This is not an object. This is why it's looking weird to me. So it should really just be, the first thing should really be this. So we have a few ways of dealing with this. Maybe we can strip the first and the last character using the some JavaScript over here. We can just strip, like, let's say we do that over here. Like we just go ahead and use some type of function to strip the first and last character of our return, and then try to ask the program if this is an array, and then whatever, save that data into memory. That's one way of doing it. I'd rather do this in the back end. Number one, because I am a lot more as you guys have probably seen in the series here, I am a lot more comfortable and confident in Python than I am in JavaScript. To me, Python is a very strict language, meaning like there's no, like, the code only works if you write it in one way. Here in JavaScript, doesn't really matter where you indent things. It doesn't really matter. There's at least 6 different functions to do the same thing. It's very flexible, the language, so it's hard for me to learn. But I think that this is the key moving forward. I think that JavaScript is definitely, in my opinion, one of the more important languages in web development. And it's the language that I personally need to get good at. And I'm taking it easy, but not stressing over it. But it's definitely something I need to keep in mind. So I was planning, after finishing this course here, to go into data structures and algorithms in Java. It could be that now I'm going to have to look for a course that teaches the same material but in JavaScript, because I really need to practice. I really need to become proficient with JavaScript and React specifically. Guys, I've seen, I would say 80% of the jobs that I see online for web developers, they're all in React and Node.js, for example. So it's something I need to get good at. Okay, so as we were saying here, we probably missing one more step, where we need to, instead of returning this as a string, we need to return it as an array. So let's see how we could do that. Yeah, so however, please note that serialize, so this code here in Django returns a string of JSON, not an actual JSON object. So when you're setting data, you're actually sending a string and not an array of objects. In your React application, you might need to parse this string into JSON again after you've received the response. Okay, so we don't want to do it in the front end. I'd rather do it in the back end. So if you want to avoid this extra step, you could parse the serialized data into a JSON before sending it. That's the step that we're missing here. And so let's compare what we got here. I'm sure you guys have seen me coughing a lot in the past few streams. Been very sick the last few days. It's been it's been physically very hard to actually show up to coding, especially like this, because it's not coding that I can do like on a laptop in bed. You know, I have to set up a desk, and behind me here I have like a green screen. It's taken a lot of effort just to be able to sit down and code. And every time I talk, I have like a pain in my throat over here. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to become easier. Um, okay, so in React, you might need to parse a string into JSON right after. So how do we do that? So we have to write this. We're just missing this JSON loads function here. So let's just put this in parentheses in the bracket, whatever, in that, okay. JSON loads. Yes. Let's try this again. You see, guys, this is a big moment. This is the moment that we've been working towards for the past 2-3 days. Believe it or not. This will be a time where I would say, you know, let's go make a new coffee. Let's go take a 10-minute break. Let's go get a beer, whatever. Um, this is working now, guys. Guys, this has taken us about 10 hours. No, maybe a little less, but okay. So our entire mistake was that we were sending a string instead of an actual JSON object. Now that we have the JSON object, our code here is correct, and it's giving us the desired functionality that we're looking for. And as you can see here, these are all the posts that we managed to send so far, and let's test it. Yeah, let's go ahead and test it. Um, right now, this is set to load. Let me see here. So right now I would have to reload the page after submitting a new post, but we need to add some code here so that it won't need to reload the page. It'll just reload this div down here with the new comment. But we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's just type in here. I think this is totally working now. Yes. Post. And we see here nothing happened, but if we reload, you see our new post is down here. So that was great. Now I do believe that let me take at the specs, look at the specs again. I do believe we need to make quite a few optimizations now to this code to comply with the course's requirements. Where were we here? So we were at let's see, cs50 dot harvard edu/web, and we were at the week 7, project 4. Okay, so um, The all posts link in the navigation bar to take the user to a page where they can see all the posts from all users with the most recent posts first. So that's the next thing we need to do. We need to figure out a way how to make all of these posts in order. Or in the correct order, which would be the opposite of what it's showing right now. Right now it's showing the oldest post first. So up here, I have to figure out how to do that. And I do believe that the key is in the serialize. That's serialize. Let me just take a look at this documentation. And I feel like I need to find better documentation. And I do have a, let me show you guys if I can find here, bookmarks. Yeah, so it's dev docs here, dev docs. So I think it's just like this basically is like one app that has documentation for anything you could ever need instead of having to go on Google every time. So let's just type in here serializers dot serialize. Actually, you might have to import. So we see here that we don't have anything. I mean, JavaScript, we have to enable our Python here. So go look in here for a minute. Python. Oh, Python's already enabled. So I think we have to enable Django. Okay. So it's not doing anything. I'll take a look at that later. But this used to be a very good resource that I would use when I was taking the first CSS course, like for the C documentation, for example. It's very handy. But anyhow, let's just type in here. How do you serialize? So this is our Django REST. Let's see. Now we could be using this REST framework, which will probably be better than what we're using. Just because it's like a little bit more focused for APIs. Now, I don't know, I don't see here anything to, um, let's see here, to like sort. Let's see, how to sort using serializers that serialize. So the ordering. So with that ordering going here, I'll try it out. Yeah, so let's try ordering. So that would just be a new field here, and ordering equals, um, we're gonna type in here, I do believe it has to be like this, like that, and date, and we'll write this. Not sure we need that comma there, but it could be. And I do believe we need to write a minus here. Let's try that. Let's go back to our app. So ordering is not an argument, so maybe we're using the wrong one here. I just need the documentation. Sometimes it could be a little bit tricky to find the correct documentation. Or maybe we need to make a new function to serialize everything. Let's see. I don't see anything that is using sort. How to sort items in a serializer. Oh, I'm gonna have to use the duck because I don't see another way here. How can I order the posts according to date? Let's see. Okay, so that's what we have to do. We're gonna just do it in our database query. So after we get all of our posts, we want to order them, order by, and we want the oldest to be the newest, right? Sorry, we want the newest to be first, so we're gonna write minus date. Okay, let's try that again, and I believe that we can get rid of this one over here. Like that. Let's see. Yeah, so now the posts have the correct order. And if we reload, now the posts have the correct order. So we have managed to do this now correctly. And again, this is all magic because it's all, I mean, it's all really JavaScript doing this. Um, which if this was a real application, it would save, it would probably save some money as instead of having to send a HTML form every time. It would just happening over here. So what I want to do now is um, I want to submit my post, but I don't want to have to reload the page. I want this to load automatically in here. So how do I do that? I do have a lot of code here, so I'm not really sure. Um, I think it might be a use effect what I need to run here. Um, hmm. Okay. After submitting a new post, how do I reload the post feed to display all posts? Yeah, so so I am using the use effect. Let me see here. Okay, let's see. So I'm using here my use effect hook. Okay, if you're using use effect hook to fetch the post from the component mounts, you can add a state variable that you update when a new post is submitted. How can I add? How can I You can add a state variable using the use state hook. Let's call it reload and initialize it to false. Then in your use effect hook, you can add reload to the dependency array. Not sure, let's see. my So if your form components And your post feed component and separate components, you can lift the state up to a common ancestor component. This means that you would define the reload state and set reload function in the parent component, pass them down to both the form and the post feed components as props. In the form component, you will call set reload. So show me sample. If your form component and your post feed component are separate components, you can lift the state up to a common ancestor component. This means that you define the reload state and the set reload function in a parent component and pass them down both in the form of the post feed. In the form component, you will call set reload after a post. Submit in the post feed component, you will include reload in the dependency. Okay. I have no idea what any of this means, so I think maybe I need to refresh my memory exactly how the components work. So let's see if we can find quickly here. React. And so this
React.
is the video that we were um, watching before. I think I'm just going to watch it again.
React is a JavaScript library full of fancy terms like reconciliation, composition, and error boundaries. But what do all these terms actually mean? Let's start from the beginning with components. Components are the building blocks of every React app. They allow us to make all the visible parts of our applications, like buttons, inputs, or even entire pages. Just like Legos, you can use components as many times as you want. Every React component is a JavaScript function that returns markup. But since React is a JavaScript library, React components don't return HTML markup. They actually return something called JSX, which is JavaScript in disguise. JSX is optional, but the alternative way to make user interfaces is with the function createElement, which gets annoying to write pretty fast, so everyone just uses JSX. Since JSX is JavaScript, you can't write attributes like you would in HTML. You have to write them in the camel case style. That means HTML attributes like class become class name. Unlike HTML, which is static and unchanging, the benefit of using React is that you can use dynamic JavaScript values in your JSX. If you have data, you can display it in your JSX using curly braces. Curly braces accept values like strings and numbers directly. You can use them to make your attributes dynamic, and you can style React elements using a JavaScript object within the curly braces. Since JavaScript functions can only return one thing, in React you can only return one parent element from a component, so you can't do this without getting a big error. We could fix this by wrapping these components in a div, but maybe you don't want to add another element to the page. Instead, you can use an empty component called a React fragment. Okay, but what if I want to pass data into another component? For that, you use something called props. To make a prop, create a name on the component you want to pass data to and set it equal to some value. And that's it. You can then use that prop in the component you passed it to. Props refers to properties on an object, which is what you get in the parameters of each component. To use the prop, take it from the object like a normal JavaScript property. Think of them like custom attributes you can add to any component. So wait, can you pass anything as a prop? Yes, you can. You can even pass other components as props using the children prop. If you make opening and closing tags for a component, you can pass other components in between them. These passed components are called children, and you can access them on the children prop of the parent component. And it's great for something called composition, which is about organizing our React components in the most optimal way. The children prop is really useful for creating layout components when you want your children to have the same common layout. The key prop is another built-in prop to React. And no, unlike the name implies, it doesn't unlock anything interesting. The key prop is used so React can tell one component apart from another, usually when you're creating a list with the map function. A key is just a unique string or number to identify a component. You'll usually know when you need to add a key because React will warn you in the console. Fortunately, if you don't have a unique value for each item, you can always use
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back here with another video, and today I will go over every single
React. And no, unlike the name implies,
Okay, so okay, so something like that. Now, I have never seen this syntax before, so I'm not really even sure where to start with it. Let's see here. Okay. Um, um, each each component has its own React. No, I just deleted everything that I had there. Okay, so let's try this again. So I have two React components, each one with its own React DOM.render. The top component is a form to submit polls. The bottom component displays all posts. When I submit a new post, how do I automatically reload all posts? Okay, so what it's telling me here is that I need to have only one of these. Right now I have two. So this is already kind of wrong. Which means really that we only need to render one, right? So which will be like the parent, and the children of that parent will be new post app and post feed app. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, 1 minute. Um, so what I'm seeing here is that I need to have some type of like main app here. So let's just call it um, function main React app, and over here I need to check if loaded or handle the loading, and render the form and post feed. Okay. In that, I write a parent and two children components is where do I render, like how's this rendered? So that would be the parent. um, okay. Okay. Okay, so it looks like it's really looking like yeah, we need to use some type of dependency here. It seems like you want to refresh the post every time. This would add dependency to your use effect hook that changes every time a new post is submitted. Currently, UseFet has an empty dependency array. Um, yeah, so over here, which means it only runs once after the initial render. If you had a state variable that changes every time a new post is submitted, and then include that variable in the dependency, let's see. How do I do that? Like you want to refresh the post every time a new post is submitted. It seems like you want to refresh the post every time a post is submitted. To do this, you could add a dependency to your use effect hook that changes every time a new post is submitted. Okay. Currently, your use effect hook has an empty dependency. Okay. You could create a state variable like const refresh set refresh use state equals false. And so, I don't know, I think it was going to go all the way up here. Basically, I think it should go up here. Now, this main function here, we'll delete that because that will be like a parent, but I don't know exactly how to implement that right now. So, constant uses React. So I think they want me to do here is const const of refresh set refresh um, equals use state of false. No. And toggle every time a new post is made that include a refresh and dependency array. How to include dependency array use effect hook. You simply add it inside the square brackets. Here's a simplified example. Simply use every time the refresh state changes. You can change the refresh state by calling set refresh somewhere in your code, for example. So it's a dependency. So to me, it's looking like this is some type of feature that's built into React. So all really I have to do, or better said, the definition of this feature is that all I got to do is add this in here. Right. And the feature is that whenever this variable changes, this use effect hook will run. So all I would need to do now is to find the function. So here's set refresh. To true. So the set refresh to true is over here. Okay, so let's just try that. It might just run once because once we set it to true, we don't have anywhere else here setting it back to false. So maybe we can do a conditional here. So if set if refresh is false, then we want to set refresh to true. Okay. Else set refresh. This is a long way of writing this. I'm sure there's an easier, shorter way of doing it, but my JavaScript skills are quite basic right now. So set refresh to false. And I think we can get rid of this part. Okay. And so that'll run this. Okay. And I think that we should write a similar piece of code over there. here. Yeah. I hope it works. Let's see. So I am getting a bunch of errors here. So let's just take back a step here. And now this is still not running. So okay, so this is working now. The question is, how do we reload this after submitting? How do we reload this after submitting our new post? So right now we submit it, but we have to physically reload the page to see the result. Now, just running the function here might be the easiest way of doing this. Let's see if it's even correct. So is this correct? So we get an error. Right, we're making some type of invalid hook call. So no, that's not the right way of doing that over here. So basically I need a separate function that can fetch the post and call this function both in your use effect and after the form submission. Okay. So here's the React documentation. A complete guide to the use effect React hook. Okay. But let's see.
This video was brought to you by LogRocket, the front-end performance monitor that records videos of user sessions along with logs and network data, surfacing problems and revealing the root cause of every bug. Try it today at logrocket.com/YT.
Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to be looking at use effect in React. If you haven't used effect component,
So I already have this, which means that all this code, we're going to try to put it above our form, right? Let's see if it still works. Yeah, it's working. And basically, we would just call the fetch post function, or in this case, the postfig function after submitting our form. So that's over here. Let's try this. Why not? Okay, let's see if it loads. Okay, does it work? No, we get an error here. So I think that we need to do it via like having like a parent component, and then the children will be the form, and the div that contains all the posts, and then we need to keep track of this using some type of state. So I think that's the more or less the direction that we need to go in. So let's just return the code to how it was before. Okay. Yeah. I think this is what we had before. Yeah, it works. Okay. Okay. Shout out to Comma. Keep up the good work. Love your vids. I'm happy that these videos are having a positive impact in your life. Yeah, thank you for your support. Let's see here. So, constant update, set update. Just move this a little bit so you guys can see it. Okay, so set update. Yeah, so this is more or less what we are trying to get up to. Okay, if I understood it correctly, the update variable needs to be a dependency in my post feed right here. So update. Now let's go up. So over here, let's see. Okay. It will be right here. So I just noticed now that you guys can't see the debugger because my image is like on top of it. So hopefully for the next stream I will sort this out a little bit better. Actually, maybe I can just do this. Let's try that. Yeah, so let's just leave it like that. So we're trying to implement something similar to here. So let's try a constant update with the function set update, and the default will be equals use state of false. And we need to write another function here, which I don't know why they're doing it like that. Like, why is it a const instead of a function? Handle update. Not. I guess this means the opposite of update, right? And got it. So I'm going to call this parent component. Or we want to call this main React window. Now this is what we're going to use. This is what we're going to be rendering into our div. Our main React window. Let's just let me see here. Let's just not take an input. Okay. Right. So this needs to go in there. Okay, and also our handle update function or constant. I don't know why it's not a function. So interesting. Right, so here we return, and we return basically these two, which means that our main React window should probably be defined at the very end of our code here. If I'm not mistaken, and we need to get rid of this React DOM in a minute. So yeah, I'm gonna define all this down here. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a new div up here just for debugging div with an ID of or main React window. And that will go down here at the very end. I will get rid of this. So what we would want to render is our main React window. And we want to put that in that div we just made. Okay, that's step one. And we want to return a div and this is already turning a div, so we don't really need this here. We don't really need this whole function. Okay. And let's see. So my main React window needs to return a div which has both of my apps. Let's try that. So my first app is going to be new post form. Yes. My second app is going to be my post feed. And we want to get rid of this React DOM here, as well as this function. Okay. So, okay. Just like that. Now we do want to put in some props over there. Um, so whenever we update this, on update, I believe this is more or less what the code should be. Now, I do want to get rid of this. Right, so let's take a look again. So we have all this stuff here. Fine. So what was confusing about all this is that this is not indented. So it looks kind of weird, but now it makes more sense. Right, so that's my new post form. I got my post feed as well. And then I've got my main React window. Now I've put it so that I've made it so that this use effect hook runs once the update is updated. So there I'm just passing that. Let's see if this works. I don't think it's going to because I might be missing some props here, but we'll see exactly what we're missing. So this is all broken at the moment. I wish I can just submit all of this. I don't know how to. What's wrong here? With this code. No, too long. Let's try again. New post form, post feed. I see that I have this weird react.dom over here still, which, no, that should be okay. So when I submit, I should update it. Let's see if I'm doing that. Well, that's what this code is doing here on update. And then props.1. Well, I believe that we might need to add here props. Now, I could be wrong, but 1 minute. So new post form maybe takes props. Let's see. Props. As well as this post feed. Props. Let's see. No, it's still not working. Let's just run this for a minute and ask what is wrong with this code. I guess all this code has to go inside there. Let's try that. I'm just guessing here. I'm not really sure, but let's try my best. So, so inside of my parent here, I just want to do that and try again. So yeah, this is working. Let's see. So no, it didn't load. It didn't reload, which means something might still be wrong here. But this is getting to the point where we have that main React window. It's like a parent. Inside of this parent, we're running this handle update function. We have the post form element. We have the post feed. And then we ran them both. Okay. Um, okay. Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't know yet. Let's see. Hello? No, it's not working. I don't know that this is necessary. Let's see. Let's try again. No, so it's not loading. Hmm. Um, time. No, 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 it's not working. I still have to reload manually.
In this video,
Okay. And hmm, not this. Hey, shout out to Proceed Gaming, who's joining our stream now. He's asking if I managed to get a job with CS50 and other resources on the internet. The answer is yes. Refer to the beginning of the stream where I talk a little bit more about it. Okay. So we still have that issue here with, okay. So, yeah, I feel very stuck right now. Let's reload the doc here and I wish I could submit all this code, but I don't think I can. Let me try again. Too much code. Why? Um, is this correct? Let's see. It seems like you're working with React, which is another React says 50. However, I can still press in general advice. Your code snippet appears to be borrowing the method in a React component. How should handle update and update be defined and passed? Let's try that. Is there a different, I did do it differently, so different way to do this? Okay. Oh. Okay, so I am getting here stuck beyond belief. I'm noticing that this seems to be a theme here in the live stream. We work and we work and we work until we get stuck to a certain point where, you know what, it's I'm getting fatigued over here. I know I did my 2 hours today. I got unstuck from the previous problem, and now we're stuck with a new one, but that's the way it is. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to pick it up where we left up here and continue our coding journey until we finish coding this network app. So thank you everybody for joining. I hope that you are making progress in your coding journey. See you in the next stream. Bye.